all know that the Remington 870 is a super reliable shotgun. I buy them whenever I can, kind of look at them, learn a little more. This tends to be the model I buy and keep for a little while, made in the 60s or so, without the impressed checkering. Anyway, I brought it out just because they're so incredibly reliable. And obviously a pump action. This one is 2 3/4 and 3 inch, with maybe not so common as the 2 3/4 inch. Then Remington had the Remington 1100. I think probably the most popular gas operated shotgun ever made, and then they came out with the model 1187. And then out of the blue around 2005 I started hearing about some kind of ultra modern titanium semi-auto shotgun from Remington, and there were some delays and there was talk about a titanium receiver. And then in 2007 finally the 105 CTI came out, and this is it. So you may know this shotgun well. It's hard to know how well publicized they were. CTI, CT stands for carbon titanium. So you can see the receiver is carbon on the top and the rest is titanium. This was a very expensive shotgun. I think they were, well, between $1,200 and $1,500 when they came out. And right away people were interested in them because if you notice, the operating handle for the bolt is quite a bit lower on the receiver than the 1100 or most other gas operated shotguns. So I mean, this part is easy to understand, but there's no ejection port, and kind of like an Ithaca Model 37 pump action. So obviously nothing on the side. Then maybe you look on the other side, and then you look on the bottom, which is the logical place. So you'll notice I didn't assemble this gun, and partly I made this video because some of you asked, what do I buy when I think there's going to be future collector value in a firearm? So I think the CTI is going to be one of those, if it isn't already. Now I'll tell you exactly what happened. So 2005, no CTI. 2007, CTI shows up, but limited numbers. It's you know, it's all dressed up. It came in this case, lock, choke tubes. I left everything intact. I had the paperwork here a minute ago. I must have put it in here. It came with a package of rem oil, all of the other things. And this is the way to keep a gun that you think is going to go up in value. So 2007, getting back to the story, they came out, and the way to feed these is quite interesting. It's not totally unique, but I mean the receiver is certainly unbelievable, and they're light because of the titanium and the carbon fiber. And I never found out how this wears because I haven't fired this shotgun. I fired another one, and I doubt that you'll see many people running around the marshes or woods with a CTI. They're just too interesting and too special. But getting back to the operations, you feed one round in here, and then that round is automatically fed into the chamber, and then you feed 2 more, and the shotgun feeds the rest, just like any other shotgun, except you're feeding and ejecting from the bottom. And some of the original literature made a great deal about that bottom ejection. I mean, maybe it's an advantage to kick the hot smoking empty shells out the bottom of the action. I'm not sure. I think we're all used to dealing with side eject shotguns, but they felt that for some reason this could seize the imagination of the market, so they invested a tremendous amount of money. And this was during the time that Remington Corporation was going through a lot of stresses and internal changes. So I can just imagine the design team that was given this assignment come up with something new and different and flashy and exciting to replace the 1187. That's not easy to do because the 1187 is such an excellent shotgun, but it's also very expensive to produce with a steel receiver and so forth. Anyway, these things probably topped out around $1,500 or $1,600, I think I saw some sell for. And then people started using them, and I doubt that the production numbers were very high. And they started talking about jams and shells that weren't being ejected, and it was finicky and fickle. And in all likelihood, those stories are true, because the market out there for semi-autos has been conditioned to demand shotguns that shoot everything from 2 3/4 to 3, and in some cases 3.5 inch shells without any problem of any kind. And I mean, that's quite a span of recoil or gas forces, depending on what kind of mechanism. If you're talking about a Benelli, then you're talking about a short recoil system, at least in the Black Eagle and Super Black Eagle. They do make gas-operated models. Anyhow, this is a gas-operated model, and I don't have an explanation for why it is that it's finicky. Maybe the chamber dimensions were too tight. It's hard to tell, and in a lot of ways it doesn't matter, because in 2007 it came out. Sales were terrible. By 2009 it was already in its second variation, which was 105 CTI2, and they made a few changes for that second generation, which I'm told are minimal and involved some changes in the shape of parts, but it's not clear to me. I even checked online, and it could have been just the trigger and a buffer. And I forgot to mention there's a self-compensating oil buffer in this shotgun, which makes recoil quite gentle despite the weight. So it is a success in terms of very light recoil, very light weight, and a remarkable and different design. Anyhow, getting back to how you make money on these kinds of things, by 2009 they were sitting on dealers' shelves. Then the CTI2 came out, those sat on the shelves. So I picked this up, well, maybe 11, maybe 12, I don't know. But they were just getting rid of them. They had been sitting on the shelves. There were still some around in 2013 and 14, and they were sold like for $400 or so. Obviously too low, just like a stock that's forgotten on the stock market. So you just buy them, and you know that this is not a garbage shotgun. Actually, it's quite interesting. And anyway, I was lucky enough to get one in that price range, and it came like this, just perfect with everything. So I don't assemble these kinds of guns. I just leave them the way I bought them. And yeah, the ventilated rib, everything. I mean, this is a beautifully made shotgun. Everything is made the way it should be. Matting, middle bead. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic shotgun, and I keep an eye on the main gun sites, Guns America, Gun Broker, Bud's Gun Shop, and looking wherever I could find one. They're very hard to find now, and if I could find the production numbers, but people report different things. I'm not even sure it's clear. The production numbers for this could be extremely low. Now, nobody's going to retire on this on one gun, but it's definitely a good investment, and it's a cool thing to own. And if I ever get around to finding another one, then I'll definitely take either this one or that one out shooting. There are some small marks on this shotgun, but minimal. And if I put any wax on it or something, it would be virtually new. And in the case, and I mean, they did a beautiful job packaging. You got the whole thing, and if you're lucky enough to find one, that's what they look like. So I'll take it out just so you can have another look at it. That's the engine, and we all know what a barrel looks like. But these would be a good buy, I think, if you can find one. And sometimes people just want to get rid of guns. And the stock, by the way, a very comfortable design. The trigger, excellent. It was just that one thing, that they're designed for 2 3/4 and 3-inch shells, but you had to find the brand or the type of shell that fed properly. and reliably. And then you refine. And I mean, in the old days, that was just routine for semi-autos. Not all semi-autos shot everything, but these days people expect that. So kind of a very unique shotgun, well worth the price if you can find them. And I'll bet you can still find them on the used market, maybe even in near new condition. It doesn't hurt to buy a material thing ever is of this quality for so little money, and then just watch the value go up just for scarcity. And before I finish the video, I remember when I was buying guns, I would go out of my way to find models in strange calibers. So if everybody was buying 308, I'd buy 243 or 358 or 284. I'd buy the ones that nobody wanted, and they were sitting on the shelves. They were either Winchester 88s or Savage 99s. Recently I bought a lever action that's available in 500 Smith & Wesson. I was talking to the guy that owns the company, and he said they don't sell many 454 Casals at all. And so I thought, that's what I'll buy. I mean, the 500 is fantastic and interesting, but there will be lots of them out there, and the 454 in the end can shoot 45 Colt, and I thought I'll buy that, and maybe that'll be the more valuable gun later. So that's about it. I hope that's useful for you. Remington 105 CTI, and I have a couple more guns that are like this one that are quite interesting and scarce, and we'll review those. And I hope to release another video for you this week. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you all next time.